St. Lucie Public Schools, with the assistance of the Roundtable of St. Lucie County, is a Kids at Hope district where we believe that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Hello, and welcome to The Power of Hope. The Power of Hope is a show dedicated at discussing Kids at Hope in St. Lucie County. Kids at Hope is an international initiative brought to the area by the Roundtable of St. Lucie County and funded by the United Way, the Roy A. Hunt Foundation, and the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. Kids at Hope is not a program. It is a strategic cultural framework based on three basic principles and beliefs. We believe, we connect, and we time travel. I am treasure hunter Jared Stevens, Kids at Hope School Community Liaison, as well as your host for the show, and I would like to thank you for tuning in for today's episode of The Power of Hope. We encourage you to tune in to every show this series as we discuss building a culture of hope to ensure that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Now you may be asking yourself, why did he refer to himself as a treasure hunter? Well, as an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Kids at Hope has three universal truths, with universal truth number 2 being we connect. Children succeed when they have meaningful and sustainable relationships with caring adults. We are fortunate to have with us today Kids at Hope published author Tyreek Ganius and his ace of heart, his anchor parent, Mr. Thurnell Mills. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Kids at Hope author Tyreek Ganius, the title of his book, I Know, a 9-year-old's poignant story of hopelessness and hope. His book takes us on his detrimental journey through his childhood where he had to face many unfavorable circumstances that led him to have a mentality of hopelessness. But also in his book, he discusses how the insertion of caring adults helped to change that hopelessness into hope. Tyreek, what does it mean to you to be hopeless?
It means to me to be a kid with nothing in front of him, a kid who don't have nothing to do or have nothing.
So for a child that doesn't have anything in front of them, you're referring to your future, right?
Yes.
What does that mean in terms of your future, or how do you see your future if you're a hopeless child?
I see my future as a person who don't have nothing, just nothing but a kid who sit on the street.
Okay. So when you were 9 years old, where did you get the courage to open up and tell your story?
I opened up and told my story one day when we had to do young authors at school, and I didn't have nothing really to write about. And then my teacher was like, we can write about our family and stuff. But at that point in time, my family wasn't doing very right. So then that's when I started writing on paper.
So originally, when you began to first write about your family, you weren't really intending on writing a book. You were just doing a writing assignment at school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how did it go from being a simple classroom assignment into being a book?
It seemed like from my teacher, she liked it, so she started showing the person who was over our contest, and then she showed the principal. And then it seemed like they really liked it, so it went higher to the point that it had to come to Kids at Hope.
Okay, so at the time, you were in what grade?
I was in the 3rd.
You were in the 3rd grade, and at that time, you were a student at Weatherby Elementary, is that correct?
Yes.
So when your teacher read your story, she was so moved by your story, she took it to the lead of young authors at the school, and then that person actually gave it to Mr. Hitzman, the principal at Weatherby, correct?
Right.
What did Mr. Hitzman have to say about your story?
He was like, it was good, very interesting, and it was very hurtful to know that he had a kid in his school that was going through something like that.
Okay, great. Mr. Mills, the fact that Tyreek was able to write this emotion-filled story, to me, is amazing. What characteristics do you see in Tyreek that gave him the ability to open up and tell a story like that?
Well, Tyreek's the type of kid that once he sees that his life could be helpful to other kids, that he felt like that he can go ahead on and pursue to tell people that there is hope in spite of no matter what situation we're in, there is hope, and don't give up. That characteristic stands strong. Don't give up. No matter what situation you come in contact with, don't give up, because there is hope on the other side of the field.
All right, that's great. So Tyreek's something of a fighter, you would say?
Yes, sir.
All right, so at this time, Tyreek will take us through his book, I Know, and he will interpret where his mind was during the different situations that he had to endure.
I know what it's like when your mom does not come home on time to make dinner, and when she does things to get money for drugs and not for the things you need. I know what it's like to see others' kids with new clothes, shoes, and good food to eat, and I have nothing but nasty, moldy leftovers. I know how it feels to be 7 years old and have to watch a 2-year-old by yourself. It's hard because you have to change diapers and he's crying because he's hungry. It's hard because you have to deal with his whining and you do not know when your mama will be back. When she would leave, it could be 2 hours or 24 hours. You never knew.
So Tyreek, you mean to tell me that when you were 7 years old, you were responsible for taking care of a 2-year-old?
Yes, sir.
So how did you go about knowing what to do? Feeding them and changing diapers. Where did you learn those things from?
While my sister was in the household, I was looking at my sister change them. And when I caught on, that's when they started leaving me home by myself with them, and that's when I'll change them and stuff.
So no one actually sat down and said, okay, well, this is how you change a diaper, or this is how you feed the baby. You actually learned from just watching?
Yes.
That's a talent in itself. All right, let's continue.
I know how it feels to have your mom tell you every day that someone different is your daddy. I knew they weren't. She didn't fool me. One time, one of them tied me up with duct tape because I got in trouble at school. He started whipping me until he felt good about himself. I couldn't go to school the next day because I had bruises and marks on me. One day, my sister called the cops because he was kicking my mom. He went to jail. My mom poured herself out crying over him. She got really depressed. Even though he is still in jail, I still think about how he used to hit my mom and me. He is suffering behind bars now for the stuff he did.
Man, that is a horrible situation that you had to deal with. For anyone to have to deal with something like that, especially for a child, how did you get loose from that situation?
I got loose when he got tired and did me from the tape and stuff.
Man, what did your mom have to say for the way he treated you?
She didn't say nothing due to that. She was scared of the person.
Okay. Well, let's continue.
I know what it's like to live with rats. One day, my little brother almost ate rat poison. My mama wasn't watching him. My sister turned her head just in time to see it and stopped him. Then there was a big fight between my sister and my mom. My sister told my mom to get off crack and watch your son. That was when my mom made my sister move out.
So your mom made your sister move out because she told her to get off of drugs and take care of her children?
Yes, it was due to that. She was telling the truth.
So how did that make you feel when your sister had to leave the house?
It made me feel very sad due to that. That was the only person that I had at the house that was older and we all got along. And due to that, that was my only sister that I have.
So in this environment that you were dealing with the abuse and the neglect and things of that nature, your sister was really the only positive thing that you had to hold on to in the home.
Yes.
Okay, that's unfortunate. Let's continue.
I know what it's like to wake up with my mom not home because she's at a crack house. I know how scary it feels to have the task force burst into your house and take your mom down after her heart almost stopped the night before. My one grandma said it's not good that my mom was trying to follow after her. My grandma only did 90 days, but my mom did 2 years in jail. That was hard because we had to move from my aunts to grandma's to everyone else's house. We stayed with them through Christmas too.
So do you remember what you were doing when task force burst into your house?
Yes, I was just sitting in the room watching TV.
And when they burst into the house, did any of the officers come and say anything to you?
Yes, he was like, do we have any relatives in the family that we know that will take care of us till she gets out?
So they didn't take the time to explain to you what was going on or why they were there or anything like that?
No, due to that we knew what was going on. It wasn't no, they didn't have no use to tell us what was going on. We smart enough to know what's going on.
Okay, well let's continue on with the story.
I know what it's like to be in class when you didn't get a good night rest the night before because your mom and her boyfriend were arguing all night. I also know what it's like to be sitting in class yelling at the person next to me because I thought they were messing with me. Even though they weren't, I used to try to focus on the teacher, but all that was running through my head were thoughts about what happened the night before. Some teachers tried to help, but they would give money to my mom and she would use it to buy crack. Every time my mama got $1 in her hand, she would smoke it.
So with all the obstacles that you were facing in your life at the time, what were your grades like?
My grades was very horrible.
And why do you think that is?
Due to that, I was getting in trouble, not trying to do my work, and then I had something going on at home.
Okay, so, you know, obviously, like I said before, that was a horrible situations you had to deal with at home. Was there a caring adult at your school that you could open up to and tell the truth about your situation?
Yes.
And who was that?
Her name was Miss Hargett.
And who was Miss Hargett?
My third grade teacher.
Okay, let's continue.
I know what it's like to get in trouble at school and then go home and get whooped. Now I know what they did to me was child abuse. I also know what it's like to have a nice family come and ask you to live with them. My new family goes everywhere together. We go to Miami and Georgia. We get on the computer and we go to the movies. They buy me new stuff and I don't have to go digging for anything. They have a wash machine so I don't have to worry about dirty clothes. I have chores, but I don't need to worry about anything else. Just more chores in school. That's it.
Just chores in school, huh?
Yes.
Mr. Mills, what was the connection between your family and Tyreek?
Well, he didn't put it in the book, but when Tyreek was 18 months old, his mom gave him to us, and we raised him until he was at the age of 7. And at the age of 7, mom came back and got him. And so then at the age of 11, at Weatherby, they called me about him, but it all started back when he went to, Project Rock. And a friend got sitting there, Mike called me and told me that Tyree was there and he wanted to talk to me. So I went to Project Rock, and Tyree said, Daddy, I want to come back home. I said, well, you know, I got to talk to your mom first. And so I talked to my wife, and she said, yes, it's okay that he come back home. So then I went and talked to his mom, and then his mom told me that Tyree's out of hand. I can't do nothing with him. Get him back. I said, well, you know, if we get him back this time, you know, get him back. She said, he's yours. He don't listen to nobody but you. So he always was out. It just when she came and got that broke that connection, and then we got in trouble. He came back and called me back into his life.
So there was no hesitation from his mother. She actually was ready to give him back.
Yes, sir, because she knew that I was really the only one that he knew as a father, and she knew how close me and him was, so she was really grateful to get him back to me.
Okay, so Tyreek, how did you feel when the Mills asked you to come back and live with them?
I felt really great, and I asked them, can I come back? So I felt really happy that I can come back.
Okay, so it was the other way around. you asked them, could you come back? So was there any hesitation when they extended the invitation to you?
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Mr. Mills, with knowing the conditions that Tyreek was coming from, what was you and your wife's approach to gain his trust and help to change his mentality from hopelessness to hope?
Well, I think once Terry got back with us, he realized that he was at home now, and so he knew that he didn't have to go through all the stuff that he went through while he was out there. But his grades and stuff, he was struggling with that, and so I had to get him to understand that his education was more important, and whatever happened in the past, let it stay in the past. But he continued wanting to hold on to that. So me and my wife, we just had to just show him love, show him kindness, you know what I'm saying, do things that he felt that a parent should do, and then put no heavy burden on him as a child. Just go to school, do your homework, do your chores around the house, and that's all you worry about. We got the rest. And so after that, he started realizing, okay, I'm home now. I can drop my guard. I can go for it.
Okay, so with knowing the terrible situations that he was going through, it would be easy to feel sorry for anyone, especially a child, that would have to have gone through some of the experiences that he had to go through. Why did you feel it was important to, have high expectations for him as far as his grades and give him responsibilities at the house, like, such as chores?
Well, I had to base that on my life, because like I say, my father died when I was 14, and my mom got killed from 18, and I didn't have no care in the dust in my life. And so when I got the opportunity to extend my hand to somebody to help them know that there is adults out there that do care and have concern, and to teach you responsibility the right way. A chore is nothing to teach you how to take care of yourself. When you get in a tough situation, you know what to do and how to go about doing it. So it was great to extend my hand back to Tyree.
So you feel it's important for an adult to have high expectations for a child, and also to teach them things by giving them opportunities for success, so that one day when they actually become an adult, they'll know how to act and how to take care of themselves.
And reach back and help somebody else.
And reach back and help somebody else. That's great. Tyreek, let's continue with the book.
Now I also know what it's like to focus on school. My parents don't argue, and I don't have to worry about them separated. I know I'm going to a home that is safe now. I get to do activities like basketball, wrestling, and football. I make better grades in school, and I don't get referrals as much. Now I am a kid at Hope, and I know I am going to be successful in life.
How does living in a safe home make you feel?
Feel good. Yes.
Makes you feel good?
Yes.
Mr. Mills, why do you give Tyreek opportunities to do different activities like football and basketball? Why do you feel like that's important?
Because football, basketball, and all activity is a stable environment. They got caring coaches around. They got teammates. So it's like a family. And he learned how to be able to extend love and concern about people in his community and everything. So that way in the home, we teach him to go out and share that with others. So football, basketball, and all the other activities will only help him to better understand that no matter what happens, we're still a family, and we can succeed as long as we help one another.
That's great. Tyreek, how has this change in lifestyle helped you to improve your grades?
It improved. My grades have improved tremendously And I really like how I've been doing lately, and I just still need a little more help in school, for it's my behavior, but everything else, I really have changed it.
So you currently are a student at Samuel Gaines, correct?
Yes.
And Samuel Gaines is a Kids at Hope school, correct?
Yes.
So at Samuel Gaines, and I know they have a wonderful administration and teachers over there, how do they make you feel? Do you have caring adults on campus there?
Yes.
Okay, great. Mr. Mills, how long has Tyreek been back with you?
About 3 years now.
And what changes have you seen in him from the time when he originally came back until now?
Well, I've seen a great change concerning his education. He now trying to make the B honor roll, and he's striving for the A honor roll. So I see his education is very important, and also I see his behavior has really changed a lot. It's just that time when he started thinking about the past, it started hindering, and then once he realized what he's doing, he tried to come back and clean it up. So I'm saying now he's taking more responsibility for his action and his behavior, and willing to admit that, hey, I'm doing it, not nobody else causing it, it's me, and then try to fix it. So Tyree has been tremendously since he's been back these 3 years.
So does he still have situations where he allows his behavior to maybe not align with what your expectations are?
Yes, sir. He definitely do, because I know he's better than that, and it's kind of frustrating to see him let that try to pull him back instead of just looking past that, looking into his future, seeing that his future is better than his past. And so what I do is just try to encourage him to let it go, because that same person that probably irritating you might be going through something at home too, and might just need a shoulder to lean on, and they don't know how to ask you. So sometimes give a listening ear to that kid, and you'll see, well, wow, somebody else is feeling what I feel. So
that it's great that you made that statement that he might be dealing with someone that has issues going on at home, maybe not the same, but similar to issues that he was having to deal with. And in your book, Tyreek, you talk about how when you would go to school, a lot of times you would take your pain out on your teachers or on your fellow classmates, right?
Right.
And how would you go about taking your pain out on your, let's say, on your classmates? What were some of the things you would do?
I would just literally just stand there and just yell at them. And when the teacher jumped in, I was just standing there and literally yell at her also.
But now looking back at it, how would you handle those situations differently?
Maybe if I'm yelling at a student now, and when the teacher come, I'll just hush my mouth and then try to prove myself later. Then I'll just be quiet.
Okay, so now you've learned to be a little more respectful in terms of dealing with the teacher in class.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's continue with the book.
If I gave advice to anyone who was going through the same thing I did, I would tell them to talk to someone about it. I would tell them to write it down and try to get it off their heart. Try not to hurt the kids at school like your parents hurt you. Don't be like your parents and give up on others or on yourself. Be what you want to be in life. A police officer told me that my life was hard at first, but I made it through, and you can too.
So what does it mean to you, Tyreek, to have hope?
It means to me that I have a future in front of me, and I see myself going somewhere in life.
So now you know you will be successful.
Yes.
Are you a kid at Hope?
Yes, I am.
That's good. And I know you are a kid at Hope, and I know you are capable of success. Kid at Hope Pledge.
I am Tyreek Gaines, and I am a kid at Hope. I am talented, smart, and capable of success. I have dreams for the future, and I will climb to reach those goals and dreams every day. All children are capable of success, no exceptions.
Children succeed when they have meaningful and sustainable relationships with caring adults. The Mills family are the caring adults that were inserted back into Tyreek's life. With that insertion of the caring adults, Tyreek changed his mentality from hopelessness to hope. I would like to just take a minute and read a section from the foreword of the book written by the founder of Kids at Hope, Rick Miller. It says, "His courage to bear his soul, his fears, and his agony, in the words of a 9-year-old, offers us a unique understanding of the real-world horrors that many of our children experience. He does so not to seek our sympathy, rather to offer his bravery and compassion to other young people in similar circumstances, in words they too can understand. He reminds them he feels their pain because it was also his pain, but equally shares the power of hope." Tyreek's book is available through the Roundtable of St. Lucie County. You can get it on their website or you can contact the office. And I would like to thank Mr. Thurnell Mills for being a guest, as well as superstar author, Kids at Hope published author, Mr. Tyreek Ganius. I would like to thank you both for being guests on today's episode of The Power of Hope. And remember, hope keeps motivation alive longer than anything else. And having optimism permits evolution. My name is treasure hunter Jarrett Stevens, Kids at Hope School Community Liaison, as well as your host for the show. And I would like to thank you for tuning in with us for today's episode of The Power of Hope.